Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Mulcahy Stadium, and welcome to Alaska Highway Safety Office Night. And this ABL contest featuring our visiting team from the Kenai Peninsula. Please welcome the Peninsula Oilers. And how about your Anchorage Bucs? Ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce the lineup beginning with the Peninsula Oilers. Leading up, shortstop number 5.
We are back here at Mulcahy Stadium as the Bucs are riding a 4-game win streak, fresh off of their latest win on the road against the CER Chinooks. Today they'll take on the Peninsula Oilers for what feels like the millionth time this week. I'm Jake Sloan, joined by Ren Grimsley. We are just minutes away from first pitch. And Ren, this team is seemingly to find ways to win. Every single time it seems to be different. What has been the key to this win streak?
I really think that this team just has found an identity, which has took some time to get into the groove of things coming into Alaska. I think they might have just settled in a little slower than some of the other teams. They are above 500 for the first time this season, sitting at an 8-7 record. And like you said, they are finding many ways to win. They just defeated the Oilers 2 days ago in a 10-7 victory. That was involved a comeback and 3 runs in the 8th inning. And then last night in Eagle River against the Chinooks, a 4-1 victory that was pretty dominant from start to finish, and a nice pitching battle. So just getting it involved, offense and defense. Overall, just playing great baseball.
And it's a new month, 1st of July. The Bucs trying to bring some of that late June success into the new month. Like I said, riding a 4-game win streak. They've done it in a multitude of ways, from offenses to a ton of pitching. Ren, do you want to take us through today's starting lineups?
Absolutely. Starting with the visiting team, the Kenai Peninsula Oilers. It's going to be Shane Cannon leading things off at shortstop. Batting second, Brooks Hassan-Cleaver, the DH. Third, Mark Nellis, the center fielder. Fourth is going to be Luke Lusky at first base. Fifth, Owen Musel in left field. Sixth, Carson McCormack in right field. Seventh, Jack Holubowski at third. Eighth, Isaac Fernandez, and the 9-hole hitter Garrison Jones, who we'll see at catcher today. And on the mound will be Cody Smathers, who comes into today's game with 11.1 innings pitched and a 3.18 ERA.
Very similar to the lineup we saw 2 days ago, outside of course, Garrison Jones behind the dish and Smathers on the mound. What about on the Bucs side?
Yeah, a couple of differences in today's game. It's going to be Camden Lanphier at shortstop, leading things off. Second will be Drew Raymond, who came in the game late yesterday. He'll be in right field. Ty Denton, the DH, who has been incredibly hot as of late at the plate. Batting cleanup, Hank Smith, first baseman. Fifth, Taylor Tracy in left. Sixth, the new guy who got in last night. We'll talk about him a little bit later, Joe Forbes, the catcher. Seventh will be Finn Leach, the second baseman. Eighth, AJ Garcia at center. And ninth, Andrew Sheffield, who will be in the hot corner. And on the mound is going to be Luke McLeod.
Yeah, like you said, a brand new player. We think this is the last one. At least we hope so. It seems
We've
like
said that several times.
We've said that. We thought it was going to be Miles Keough as the last player, but new surprise every week. We'll see if we're in store for any the rest of the season, but we will be right back for the national anthem.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And we're out and about.
So the newest member of the Anchorage Bucs is Joe Forbes out of the University of Arizona. Played in 20 games for the Rockford Rivets, where he hit .205 with 8 hits, 2 home runs, and 11 RBIs. And he fits right in as he's been hit by 5 pitches as well.
There you go.
He's already a Buck.
Once a Buck, always a Buck. In the update on who is the most hit team in the ABL, the Oilers have once again taken the lead. They're at 23, while the Bucks sit at 22. But looking to change that here today, hopefully.
Just an ever-going battle between these two teams is Luke McLeod on the mound. He's one of those two-way players that the Bucks have. We've seen Carson Humphreys play both in the box and start on the mound. Luke McLeod joining him as well. R.J. Carver, who we haven't seen in a couple games, another one of those guys. And Taylor Tracy, the man in left field as well, we've seen on the mound and in the starting lineup ever since he's come to Anchorage. But for McLeod making his 5th appearance, he is 2-0 with a 1.23 ERA through 7 1/3 innings. So he's been very great for the Bucks out of the bullpen. He's coming off of his longest relief appearance, which was on June 23rd against the Oilers, where the Bucks won their first of 4 consecutive games through 3 innings, only allowed 2 runs, one of those which was earned. So he's made his presence felt in relief appearances out of the bullpen, and now he'll try to set the tone today. First batter he faces will be the shortstop, Shane Cannon. He was the same one who 2 days ago led it off, as only drew a walk and then struck out 3 times in 5 plate appearances. As we get underway at 6:01 p.m. here at Mulcahy Stadium. First offering is a fastball from McLeod that is on the inner part of the zone for strike 1.
Yeah, McLeod also a low strikeout guy, only 7 strikeouts through 7 innings pitched. But as we mentioned yesterday, when it was Mason Trotter coming into the game, he was a low strikeout guy, and then he had 11 in the first 4 innings.
Maybe we're speaking it into existence again. I sure wouldn't mind that. 1-1 is right at eye level to Cannon and a bit inside for ball 2. Now a 2-1 hitters count to Cannon. Shortstop Shane Cannon just finished up his freshman year at UCSD, only played in 1 game. And a 129 batting average. He's making his 11th appearance of the season here today as he takes strike 2 to even things up once again. The next offering from McLeod just a bit high, and the first at-bat of the evening is a full count to Shane Cannon. McLeod gets the sign from Forbes and delivers. Swung on and missed for strike 3.
Cannon had 3 strikeouts in the game 2 days ago. Now starting things off here from McLeod with a strikeout.
Talked about what happened when we said a low strikeout guy was a low strikeout guy yesterday. So far, off to another one of those starts. We'll see what happens the rest of the game. Well, Brooks Hassencleaver, the left-handed designated hitter of today, steps in. He takes strike 1 on the outer part of the zone.
That looked really outside. There were a couple also to Cannon that looked like they were inside on his hands in the lefty batter's box. Or in the right-handed batter's box, excuse me. So a pretty wide strike zone as another one finds it.
It's also possible Canning could have been crowding the plate. Hard to see from up here, especially with the umpire blocking that outer half of the zone for us so far. But nonetheless, it's an 0-2 count to Hassencleaver, who also was in the 2-hole 2 days ago. As he fouls that one back and out of play to stay alive in the count. Had a single and a double, as well as a walk, but he struck out like many batters did just a couple days ago. Here comes the 0-2. Just misses inside to run the count to 1-2.
Probably just as impressive as the 1.2 ERA for McLeod is his .95 whip, or walks and hits per innings pitched. So he's averaging less than a guy on base each inning.
And for much of this pitching staff, that number has continued to plummet these last couple of days.
Yeah, the Bucs are no longer last in ERA in the ABL, now second to last, right ahead of the Glacier Pilots, but considering the margin that the team started at to start things off, it's success for sure.
And a big part of that has been through their win streak. Throughout their last 4 games, they've only allowed 3 runs per game. They gave up 4 in their first win, shut out the Miners, then gave up 7. Before yesterday, they only gave up 1. 2-2 count is lined down the right field line, but it'll wind up foul. Did not miss by much, just a hair in front of it was Hasencleaver. He'll head back to the batter's box with a 2-2 count.
There's a pretty exciting game last night here at Mulcahy Stadium. As we got back from the Chinooks game, they were in extra innings with the Glacier Pilots, and the Oilers would go on to win in 10 innings.
2-2 just misses down low, so back-to-back full counts to start off today's game for McLeod. Yeah, there's been a couple of close games these last couple of days. Obviously, yesterday's for us was pretty close until the Bucs were able to pull away. Hasencleaver fouls back another one. Then you had the extra inning thriller here. Bucs have had an extra inning win of their own.
Also goes to show how quick a game goes by when you don't score many runs in a 4-1 victory, able to get back and see the end of a game that ended 8-7 in 10 innings.
Yeah, about a half-hour drive at that as well. 3-2 upstairs for ball 4. Hasencleaver has a 10-pitch at bat, and it winds up in a 1-out walk for the first base runner here today. Hasencleaver draws the 1-out walk. That'll bring up the center fielder, Mark Nellis, who also batted in the 3-hole 2 days ago. So a lot of similarities from this matchup on Monday. First offering to him misses down low for ball 1.
Nellis had 3 hits yesterday in the win over the Glacier Pilots, but was held to none against the Bucs just 2 days ago. It's pretty impressive considering has a .333 batting average.
Yeah, he drew a walk in the first inning and was the third of 3 runs to score in that top half of the frame. And after that, the Oilers offense just ran out of gas. 2-0 to him is a fastball on the inside part of the plate for the first strike of the at-bat. For any soccer fans listening, the Team USA just beat Bosnia and Herzegovina 2-0.
Is that how you say it?
I think so. I was trying to get it down the entire broadcast that was on Fox Sports. That's my best effort. Is Elvis flies out to right field, and Raymond makes the catch for out number 2. I'm not a huge soccer guy. I will certainly tune in for the World Cup, that's for sure. Especially with the U.S. hosting it along with Mexico and Canada. I will say it does look like a lot of fun, all the host cities.
It does. But you know my thoughts on soccer, which are for the most part, anti. Not anti, it's just not for me. And that's okay.
Yeah, with how many similarities it has to hockey, I think we'll take hockey with goals, offsides, all that stuff.
But you can't actually, fight in hockey, which has you can't even touch someone in soccer.
The leading factor that makes hockey so exciting. Nonetheless, our country putting out. So they move on to the round of 16. That one's hit well into left field. Tracy going back in it, looking at the wall, and it's going to fly over. 2-run shot for Luke Lusky. That gives the Oilers an early 2-0 lead, very similar to how this game on Monday started.
That is the first home run that the Bucs have given up this season. They were the only team up to this point to not give up a home run. But I guess it had to happen at some point. It comes off the bat of Luke Lusky. It looked good heading out into left field, and with the wind pushing from right to left, it had plenty of wind as well to carry it out.
Yeah, this field definitely favors left-handed batters with how the crosswinds are set up with the direction of the stadium as Owen Musil takes ball one. Seems like these last couple weeks the players have fully adjusted to the wood bats with the large uptick in homers. We've seen that with Andrew Sheffield and Ty Denton each having one. Sheffield has 2, Denton has 1 in the last week or two. A couple more sprinkled around the league. That one's ranging into foul territory. Hank Smith able to make the play right near the fence for out number 3. So McLeod gives up the homer. His teammates will try to make up for those 2 runs when they get their first crack at the bats in the bottom of the first.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, pick up that red ticket from the Pirates Den for your chance to win some prizes this evening. And also at the Pirates Den, we have those 4th of July tickets on sale. So swing on in and get that. Wait in line, so avoid the lines there on Saturday evening. That game begins at 7 o'clock. Both box seats and general admission on sale there at the Pirates Den. Also, as you're out and about, check out the concession stand in the beer garden for beer, seltzers, and wines, and top-of-the-line Boar's Head products, all right here for you from the Anchorage Bucs. It's Alaska Highway Safety Office night, so don't forget to buckle up and arrive alive and check it out at their booth right behind the Bucs dugout for more information and some fun stuff they got going over there for you. Leading off for the Anchorage Bucs.
Bucs facing an early 2-0 hole here in the bottom of the first. Camden Landfair leads things off against Cody Smathers. Just finished up his sophomore year at Cal Baptist. Right-hander with a .318 ERA through 11 innings and 3 appearances, all of which he started. So he's an arm that the Oilers have put a lot of trust into Start games off hot. That's what he'll try to do here against one of the hottest teams in the ABL.
Yeah, and he is a high strikeout guy. Maybe we'll get some reverse jinx there too. He has 17 strikeouts in 11 1/3 innings pitched. And he often comes in for many innings in just 3 appearances, like you said, the 11.1 or 11 1/3 innings pitched.
He's only walked 7 batters and hit 5. As that one is fouled off the bat of Lanfear for a 2-1 count.
Lanfear yesterday with a single and a stolen base, and eventually coming around home for the first run until the 7th inning, when the game with the Chinooks yesterday was tied 1-1 until the Bucs were able to break the game open in the 7th.
Here comes the 2-1 to Lanfear. Check swing that he held up on, but it didn't matter as the slider found the zone for strike 2. Two count to the leadoff man, Lanfear. Fouls that one right in front of home plate. Able to stay alive and face the 2-2 count once again. Lanfear has been depended on to set the tone at the top of the lineup, and he's delivered so often. He lays off of that pitch to run the count full. He's drawn 5 walks this season. Not able to draw one there as he swings and misses on the breaking ball that dips down and out of the zone for strike 3.
No batting for the Bucs. From Santa Clara University.
So now Andrew Raymond steps up to the plate. Didn't start in yesterday's game. AJ Garcia was in that 2-hole. Came in for an at-bat late in the game. So he takes ball 1 from Smathers.
Yeah, Raymond came in the 8th, had a double that went to the right field wall. Didn't see any runs out of it, but came in and immediately made a difference.
Yeah, it was that 7th inning that the Bucs put up the 3 spot, and Raymond got stranded at third, but it was a big hit that helped keep the momentum in their favor. So he takes strike 2 on the outer part of the plate. 1 out in the bottom of the first. Bucs trailing 2-0 after Luke Lusky's 2-run shot to left field. Bucs trying to make up that lost ground. As Raymond swings and misses on a ball that drops out of the glove of the catcher Garrison Jones. He makes the throw over to first in time.
So far, this game looking a lot like yesterday's as well. As we mentioned, the Bucs struck out 11 times in 4 innings. So far here, 2 up, 2 down. And now the hottest hitter in the ABL also has the highest batting average at .456. It's Ty Denton.
Denton had a homer against the Oilers on Monday. Continued his hitting streak yesterday as he takes ball 1. He's, like you said, one of, if not the hottest bat in the ABL right now. Come up big for his team. Swings and misses at that off-speed pitch for strike 1. Comes the 1-1 from Smathers. Another swing and miss for strike 2. Denton now quickly behind 1-2.
Denton not only had the home run, but also 3 hits and 4 RBIs. So they were likely coming into today's game looking at how they can shut down number 15.
Tries to do so there. Denton able to lay off of the pitch outside to even things up at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Bucs trailing by a pair. Still trying to get their first base runner of the game. That one foul tipped and just barely out of the glove of Garrison Jones. And able to get enough of that to stay alive in the at-bat.
Yeah, it would have been a strikeout if Jones had been able to hold on. Or just popped right out of the glove. Might have maybe gotten a little bit of a piece of him. At least the umpire might think so. So he takes his time walking the ball up to Smathers.
So it remains a 2-2 count to Denton. That one, a fastball right down the middle. Denton couldn't pull the trigger in time. And for the second straight day, the Bucs are struck out in order to start things in the first inning. They trail by 2 runs after the first frame.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to stop by and pick up those red tickets from the Pirate Stand. Your chance to win some prizes. Also, those 4th of July tickets are on sale. Those box seats and general admission on sale now. So go pick that up and avoid the lines on Saturday evening. Lots of great sponsors here for your Anchorage Bucs. Boar's Head of Alaska and Alaska Provisional, as well as the Architectural Supply of Alaska Company, Pepsi, and the Packaging Store, all proud supporters of your Anchorage Bucs. Ladies and gentlemen, no batting for the Peninsula.
So after the first inning, Bucs trailed 2-0. Carson McCormack, the right fielder, steps up to lead things off in the top of the second. McLeod back on the mound after giving up that 2-run homer, trying to bounce back here. First pitch to McCormick is fouled directly back and out of play for strike 1.
The important thing is that the Bucs don't panic. They've obviously been down before, gave up 3 in the first inning 2 days ago to this same team, and were able to bounce back.
They've had several comeback wins, which started this hot stretch. They've won 6 of their last 7. That first win was a 2-run comeback in the 9th inning on their final game of their road trip down to Kenai. 1-1, swung on and missed on the fastball for strike 2. Cloud trying to get his second punch out of the game. That's how we started off the first inning. Already on his way to getting that here, but he'll have to wait a little longer as McCormack's able to foul that one off. It's also very important to see how Forbes does in his first game behind the dish, what kind of relationship he can build with his pitching staff. 1-2 is chopped over towards third base. Making the play cleanly over to first is Andrew Sheffield for out number 1.
It'll be interesting to figure out later where the pitch calls are coming from. Often from the catcher, but wondering if they might let Joe Forbes settle into some things and figure out some of these batters before, as well as his pitching staff before making the calls.
First offering to Jack Holubowski is popped up into the infield. Settling under it is Camden Lanfear and sticks out his glove for a 1 pitch out, and quickly now 2 gone in the top of the second.
Now batting for the Oilers, second
2 quick outs for Luke McLeod, and now Isaac Fernandez, the second baseman, steps up to the plate. He was the catcher on Monday. Had a walk and a single as he hits that one up the middle and into center field. Has himself a 2-out single to keep the inning alive for the Oilers.
Now batting for the Oilers, catcher number 2, Garrison Jones.
So aggressive approaches from the Oilers so far. It's resulted in 2 runs and 2 hits. Now the 9-hole hitter Garrison Jones, who is the player behind the dish today, steps up into that left-handed batter's box, the only player in this lineup who was not featured on Monday. First delivery from McLeod is popped up in a shallow left field. There to make the catch is Tracy, so another 1-pitch at bat, 3 in a row. This one is the 3rd out of the inning, so McLeod's able to strand the runner on base and keep the Oilers from adding to their 2-run lead. The Bucs will try to chip into that deficit in the bottom of the 2nd. You're listening to the Bucs YouTube channel.
Tasty treats, take care of that tickle in the tummy, and so let's serving up the top of the line Boar's Head products. Ladies and gentlemen, now batting for the Anchorage Bucs from Point Loma, Missouri, first baseman number 16, Hank Smith.
Bucs still looking for their first base runner after Smathers struck out the side in the bottom of the 1st. Hank Smith will be leadoff man to try and be that first Buck to reach base safely.
And the Bucs have struck out more than any other team in the ABL. They continue that trend here today with 3 straight so far.
Hank Smith is able to hit a dribbler past the second baseman Isaac Fernandez and into right field. So the first hit of the day belongs to him. It's a leadoff single to start the bottom of the 2nd.
2 days ago when the Oilers scored 3 in the top of the 1st, the Bucs were able to respond with 2 in the bottom of that same inning, which is huge for momentum if you give up a lead but are able to get some of it back and stay close. Obviously now an inning later, but would still be good to keep this game not too far out.
First pitch from Smathers to Taylor Tracy is a slider at about the chest level for ball 1.
But knowing this Bucs team, it's probably going to come down to the 7th, 8th, or 9th innings when we to really determine a winner.
They really like to keep us on edge, that's for sure.
Hey, it makes our job more fun.
This is true.
And somewhat easier in a sense. If it were all blowouts one way or the other, I mean, that would be tough.
Yeah, that run roll game was pretty hard to broadcast. So 1-1 count to Taylor Tracy, who is in left field like he has been in virtually every game since he has arrived in Anchorage. Fouls that one off for strike two. Spent his freshman year at Tennessee primarily as a left-handed pitcher, is a two-way player this summer and committed to TCU right before he got here. So I will see him in the Big 12 next year.
There you go.
Assuming TCU plays us at home. Not sure if they will, as they came to Tempe this past year. Tracy hits one well out to left field. That's going to drop in front of the left fielder, Owen Musel. Hank Smith holds up at second, and it's back-to-back singles to start the bottom of the second. Bucs have some momentum, and now an early chance for Joe Forbes to make an impression on his new ball club.
That was a weird hit ball by Tracy. It looked like it was going to go over the head of Musel, out maybe towards the wall, but instead just kind of died up in the air and landed right in front of him. Either way, a base hit. Likely that Smith wouldn't have been able to reach third regardless.
The wind is still going strong here. We can feel it on our backs. The flags out in left field are blowing very hard towards the left field foul pole, so that could have played a factor in it, but Joe Forbes takes ball one. Has an opportunity to earn some street cred with his teammates as he lays off a fastball that was down and away and is ahead in the count 2-0. Forbes saw 6 games of action with the Arizona Wildcats in his true freshman year. Swings and misses at that one. For strike one, still a 2-1 hitters count for him. Was ranked as the number 6 overall prospect and number 1 catcher in the state of Arizona. Out of Mountain Ridge High School. He'll take a timeout here to collect himself. As an RBI opportunity with runners on first and second and nobody out. Bucs still trailing 2-0. But have a chance to either cut into that deficit or create a deficit for the Oilers, depending on how the rest of this inning goes. Two-one, down and away for ball 3.
Forbes also living in the bunkhouse with us. Now roommates with Hayden Miller.
Yeah, we are full at 12 people. We have no more room with the late additions of Forbes, and 2 weeks ago Andrew Haberman and Andrew Raymond came in. Hank Smith as well. So a full house with all 12 of us. After a quick mound visit from Garrison Jones, Cody Smathers gathers himself with a 3-1 count against Joe Forbes. Righty on righty matchup. And looks like we'll have a balk issued. Home plate umpire caught something that looked unnatural from Smathers and awards a free base for Hank Smith and Taylor Tracy. Smith now up to third base.
We've seen a strange number of balks lately. The first 10 or so games didn't see one at all, and now 3 straight games with at least 1 balk.
Swing and miss on the next pitch from Forbes. Now has 2 runners in scoring position, so a big chance here with a full count. First base is open if Smathers misses with a pitch. But loading the bases with no outs is almost immediate trouble. Here comes the payoff pitch from him, and it'll be ball 4. Garrison Jones just able to lunge in front of that one to keep it from going to the backstop. So Joe Forbes' first at bat is definitely a positive one. He loads the bases with 0 outs. And now second baseman Finn Leach steps up to the plate with a huge opportunity to do some damage.
And good of Forbes to not feel like he has to be the hero immediately coming in. Just taking it one pitch at a time and laying off with a good eye and heads to first base for a guy who is on a 5-game hit streak. Actually, I believe he did not get a hit yesterday, but he was on a 5-game hit streak leading up to that in Finn Leach.
So one of the hotter hitters on this team, as head coach Dave Dawson will take a mound visit and talk to his starter, who has been so reliable for him so far this season. Has gone at least 3 or more innings in every single start. His latest start, he only went the minimum of 3. Gave up 2 earned runs. He has not given up more than 2 runs in a start either. So some uncharted waters potentially arising here for Smathers as he faces the left-handed batter Finn Leach as a right-handed pitcher. Leach chops it over to first. The throw to home is in time, and it's going to be a double play. The best case scenario for the Oilers, they keep a run from scoring. So it'll be 2 outs with runners on second and third. Leach not able to beat out the throw to first.
A 1-2-3 double play.
I was just about to say, I don't think I've ever had that happen.
Certainly more rare than your typical 6-4-3.
I think in that scenario, the Bucs would have taken a 6-4-3 because it would have at least scored a run. But still, 2 runners in scoring position for A.J. Garcia, who takes strike 1. He started in the 2-hole yesterday. Was pulled in the 8th inning for Raymond. Lays off of that pitch for an even count. He struck out twice and popped up to first base in his 3 plate appearances. Lays off of the 1-1. Backdoor slider not able to catch the outer corner of the plate. Count moves to 2-1.
And the Bucs' depth is just really phenomenal. With A.J. Garcia defensively, he's really excellent in center field. Very fast, and with the late addition of Taylor Tracy and Drew Raymond, now Ryan Dara not even in the lineup, and he's also one of the better hitters and defenders on the team.
Garcia also one of 5 players on this team with a home run. They've really spread the wealth around. 2-2 to him is down in the dirt for ball 3. The count runs full once again. Garcia trying to extend this inning with the Bucs down 2-0. Have runners on second and third with 2 gone. Here comes the payoff pitch from Smathers, and Garcia swings and misses for strike 3. So Smathers goes from a bases loaded and nobody out situation to a double play and strikeout to keep the Bucs scoreless as the Oilers lead 2-0 heading into the top of the third.
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, it's Alaska Highway Safety Office night, and I ask that you buckle up and arrive alive. And there are tents out behind the Bucs dugout on that entry area, so go check them out and see their information. And we appreciate them coming out here and providing information for all of us to make sure that we're safe out on our highways. Also, don't forget, we got some amazing sponsors here. Alaska Club is our official health club sponsor. Alaska Springs and Performance, Hillcorp, Subway of Alaska, and Arby's, all proud supporters of your Anchorage Bucs. Shortstop number 5, Shane Cannon.
So the lineup goes back to the top for the Oilers. Be Shane Cannon, the shortstop, who started the game off by striking out swinging. Lays off of that fastball that runs outside for ball 1. McLeod back there on the mound after keeping the Oilers scoreless in the second. Cannon sends that one foul along the left field line for strike 1 to even things up at 1-1.
Cannon currently batting .229, also known as the South Georgia phone area code. But has not gotten a hit in the past several games since the 26th of June against the Matsu Miners, where he had 2 hits, but has been hitless ever since.
Been a tough go around for the leadoff batter, who you usually want to set the tone with, but is now gone down on strikes in back-to-back at-bats. First time swinging, this time looking. McLeod with his second punch out of the game to start things off in the top of the 3rd. So now 1 gone for Brooks Hasencleaver, the designated hitter who walked and came around to score on Luke Lusky's 2-run homer. Hasencleaver also with a pair of long balls of his own that came way earlier in the season.
Hitting for contact too, batting .319, has 12 RBIs and 4 stolen bases, so he's doing a little bit of everything. Not in the field today, though, at designated hitter.
He's off of another fastball that rides too far inside and is now ahead in the count 2-0. His early power has certainly scared off opposing pitchers as he takes that one foul down the right field line for strike 1. He's drawn 12 walks, or excuse me, 23 walks.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a big jump. I was looking at RBIs, but yeah, 23 walks in 47 at-bats. So he's extremely patient, and
so about half of his at-bats end up in walks.
I'd say more like a third. I'm pretty sure.
Wait, 20.
When it's,
say that again?
So it's 23 walks. It's 47 at-bats, but those 23 aren't counted.
Oh, they
as
don't
at-bats,
count.
So it's
Yeah.
doing some quick math. 23 walks in 70 plate appearances. So about a third of the time he walks. And he is a pitch away from doing that again. Is he runs the count full. Looked like he might have gotten something in his eyes. He walked away from the batter's box. Was waiting to see if he was going all the way back to the dugout or he circled back. I didn't see a strikeout call from the ump, so it's a pretty easy decision there. But the payoff pitch from McLeod is fouled into the netting behind home plate. He's able to stay alive in this at-bat.
And that power Hasencleaver has, likely from his frame 6'2", 225. Pretty big ball player.
Next payoff pitch is fouled back once again. Hasencleaver just chipping away at these pitches, waiting to find the one that he can get a better piece of.
He's taking some big swings, too. He's not just trying to foul them off as he realizes that he's going to miss. He's swinging for the fences and just barely missing.
Here comes the 8th pitch of the at-bat, and it's bouncing ball in front of home plate. Hasencleaver, for the second time today, has drawn a 1-out walk. So that'll bring up a base runner for center fielder Mark Nellis, and that brings Hasencleaver's walk numbers to 25 total. Came into today with 23 and now has a pair today. So Mark Nellis steps in. He flew out to right field his first time. First pitch to him is low and away for ball 1. And looking back at Hasencleaver's college stats, they're not too far off. He hit 11 homers and walked 73 times in 60 games.
Man.
So he is just a walk machine as Nellis chops that over to third. Sheffield drops it. The only play he'll have is at first. Giving himself a great chance, though, to make the throw over to first. He didn't have the double play ball after he bobbled it, but still a great play to make the throw.
Likely would have been able to if he were able to make the transfer smoothly. But good awareness to not try to force it over to second and still turn it. Instead, just opts for the 1 out over at first base.
Would have loved to avoid facing this batter, Luke Lusky, who hit the 2-run homer in this almost exact same scenario with 2 outs and Brooks Hassencleaver aboard as he takes strike 1. Lusky became the second Oiler to hit a homer. Hassencleaver was the only one on the team to leave the yard before his last at-bat as he fouls that one off and is now down in the count 0-2. So 2 outs in the top of the third. Oilers still up 2-0. Lusky with a chance to add to that lead with Hassencleaver at second. He's already shown off the type of power he has. McLeod looking for his third punch out of the game. Looks over at second. He'll now deliver the 0-2 fastball that is down and away. Forbes able to keep that one from going to the backstop.
A couple of these misses have been in the dirt, so trying to force contact and find the low part of the zone or something for Lusky to swing at. Just missing a little bit, landing in front of the plate.
So count moves to 1-2, still 2 outs. That one swung on and missed for strike 3. McLeod with his third punch out of the evening as it strands Hassencleaver on second and keeps the deficit at just 2 runs. Bucks were able to get a couple hits last inning. They'll try to build on that in the bottom of the third.
All right, get out that ticket number, that red ticket. We got a number drawn for you for a little Subway gift card. That number is 066-289. 066-289. You're bringing home some Subway tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, now batting for the Anchorage Bucs. Third baseman, number 2.
Bucks still trailing 2-0. Andrew Sheffield, the 9-hole hitter, steps up to the plate for the first time today. He'll take strike 1 from Cody Smathers, who got themselves out of a bases loaded with no out jam, didn't even give up a single run. The 0-1 from him is fouled straight behind home plate for strike 2.
Yeah, it was unfortunate for the Bucks. At the very least, we're hoping to get one and cut the lead in half but just a bounce right back to the pitcher. Caught a piece of the catcher Jones.
Yeah, Sheffield, a very late decision to swing on that one, was just trying to protect the plate, was able to foul it off. Sheffield, the only player on the Bucs with multiple homers. He hit them in back-to-back games last week. The 0-2 to him is hit into straightaway center field. Mark Nellis comes under it and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. So Sheffield flies out to center to start things off in the third, and that'll bring the top of the lineup back to the plate as Camden Lanfear steps in after striking out swinging his first time up. First pitch is a slider that just barely misses. Lanfear with a good eye there to lay off of it. Next offering to him is a fastball right down the middle. That'll even things up at 1 apiece. Here comes the 1-1 to him. Another slider. That one able to grab the inside part of the plate. Back-to-back strikes from Smathers to jump ahead in the count 1-2.
Lanfear leads the team in hits, was very aggressive in his first at-bat, striking out. Now here has laid off all 3 pitches.
1-2, swung on, strike 3 down in the dirt and is tagged out by Garrison Jones, so he goes down on strikes for the second time today. The 5th strikeout already from Smathers. Now Andrew Raymond steps up. Bucs down to their last out in the third. Raymond also went down swinging. He takes strike 1 right down the middle. Raymond, an outfielder from Santa Clara, came over with his teammate Andrew Haberman. Able to lay off of that one to run the count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Bucs still looking for their first base runner this inning after loading the bases their last time up. 1-1 is fouled off, backing out of play for strike 2.
Yeah, Raymond and Haberman, late additions in general, not just in terms of this summer, but about a week before the start of the season was when GM Sean Maltby sent an updated roster that had 2 new guys on it to post on the Instagram.
1-2 is hit sharply over towards second base. Fernandez able to make the play and the throw is in time, so it's another 1-2-3 inning. Smathers able to retire the side with ease, and the Bucs remain chasing, still down 2-0 through the first 3 frames.
First responders, please stand. Oh, let's give these folks a big round of applause. Thank you for your service, not just to our nation, but also to our community. We appreciate you. Let's give them a big round. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for all you've done for this great country and this great community. fielder, number 29, Owen Musil.
Through the first third of the game, Oilers the only team to plate any runs as they lead 2-0. Owen Musil back up for the second time. He fouled out to Hank Smith over at first base to end the first inning.
The Oilers have been very aggressive on these first pitches. Back in the third inning, the last three batters each only saw a single pitch, and now Owen Musil swinging at the first one. So Luke McLeod can find a way to use that to his advantage. Maybe get some contact there and get quick at-bats.
Using it to his advantage there with a swing and a miss for strike 2. Struck out Luke Lusky to start off, or to end the third inning, trying to start off the fourth the same way. That one's hit over towards third base. It'll run foul at the very last second. So Musil will step back in there. Still down to the count 1-2. McLeod has delivered back-to-back scoreless frames after giving up that 2-run shot to Luke Lusky. One, two is fouled away once again. McLeod is matched his season high in total innings pitched with 3. Trying to set his season high with an out here. We'll have to wait as Musil has fouled off 3 pitches in a row to stay alive. The count remains 1-2 to the leadoff batter. Six pitches to him so far. 4 of them have been foul balls. The 7th one rides way inside and almost hits him. It'll even up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes to the left fielder Musil. That one swung on and missed for strike 3, a 4th punch out of the day for Luke McLeod. Back-to-back swinging strikeouts. That one will be the first out of the 4th inning.
McLeod been averaging a strikeout per inning roughly. Now here with 4 strikeouts through 3 1/3. Keeping that strikeout pace going.
First pitch to Carson McCormick is fouled away for strike 1. There seems to be a lot of foul balls, so the Oilers, like you said, have been very aggressive. It's resulted in plenty of quick at-bats, but also some that have gone on for quite some time due to several foul balls per at-bat. McCormick able to lay off of that off-speed pitch, which dipped below out of the zone.
What's with the birds today?
I have no idea.
There's
I
so
don't-
many of
I
them.
don't know if it's the wind pushing them this way or what, but there seem to be a lot of them. It's always so odd to me that there are seagulls flying over a baseball field as McCormick goes down looking, and it's back-to-back strikeouts to start the 4th inning for Luke McLeod.
McLeod's been getting a lot of quick plate appearances. A lot of that due to the fact that the Oilers have been so aggressive with their bats. And we've seen success when the Bucs have gotten short at bats pitching, Evan Stratton being the prime example.
That one's popped up into foul territory. Hank Smith coming under it, and he makes the catch. So it's a 1-pitch at bat and a 1-2-3 inning for McLeod. He faces the minimum. His ball club still trailing 2-0 heading into the bottom of the 4th. You're listening to the Bucs YouTube channel.
ladies and gentlemen, pick up those red tickets to get your chance to win. If you can bring home that Subway gift card, then you need to pick up that red ticket so you got a chance to win. Also, I roundabout check out the lineup of beer, seltzers, and wines at the Bucs Beer Garden, and check out the concession stand for top of the line Boar's Head products, all provided for you right here with the Anchorage Bucs. Ladies and gentlemen, now batting for the Anchorage Bucs.
It's been a battle of 27s on the mound. Both McLeod and Smathers sporting the 2-7, which is also the day I was born, April 27th.
Hey, there you go.
So far, Smathers has bested McLeod. He's thrown 3 scoreless innings, trying to make it a 4th. See if the Bucs have anything to say about that. Ty Denton foul tips the first one into the glove of Garrison Jones for strike 1.
And if only it were 2027, too. Fortunately, it is not.
Oh, 1 count to Denton is a ball that slips away from Smathers and bounces in front of home plate. Easy for Denton to lay off to. Now a 1-1 count to the leadoff batter. Bucs still trailing 2-0. And fouls that one off into the netting behind home plate for strike 2.
Mentioned it earlier, but Denton rocking the highest batting average in the ABL this season so far. He's batting in the DH spot today, and the second straight game where he's in the 3rd spot.
Check swing on that. He went all the way around on, though, and it's the second time he's gone down on strikes today with a first out of the 4th inning. And so far, all of the Bucs offense has come in 1 inning, the second, where they loaded the bases with nobody out and still were not able to play any runs.
The Bucs weren't able to score until the 4th yesterday as well, so just got to take things 1 inning at a time, but it is going to be important to score early as we get later on into the season and the games become even more important.
They've definitely been a second-half team, to say the least. Plenty of comeback wins and flurries of offense in the later stages of games. Sure, Kirk Schreider would like to see his ball club be able to put it together a little more often in the first 4 innings. Check swing on the 1-1. Third base umpire says that Hank Smith did not go all the way around, so the count will move to a 2-1 hitter's count. Smith was the first hit of the 2nd inning. He advanced all the way to 3rd, but that's all he would, furthest he would get. Lays off another pitch, and it's 3 straight balls to him. Now a 3-1 count. Able to lay off of that fastball that rode high and outside, and it's a 5-pitch walk to Hank Smith with 1 out in the bottom of the 4th. Bucs trying to capitalize on their first base runner since the 2nd inning.
Huge from Hank Smith in today's game to continue to not let things get down for the Bucs and get on base. Oftentimes just important to have someone on there to distract the pitcher a little bit and give him something else to think about.
So now Taylor Tracy steps in, and first pitch to him is in the dirt for ball 1.
Especially at first, where the chance of stealing is very high, or a wild pitch could easily put Hank Smith at second, but when it gets to second and third, there's really nowhere for the runners to go, which is what we saw back in the second inning. And that takes a lot of stress off of the shoulders of Smathers. There you go.
Found your way around eventually.
Ugh.
Smith has not attempted to steal a base yet this summer. He stole 6 bases in 57 games at Point Loma Nazarene University this past year in college ball. One count to Tracy. Able to lay off of that pitch, which was enough to warrant Garrison Jones to check over at first base to make sure Hank Smith wasn't trying to snag a free bag. All right, the way a hitter's count to Taylor Tracy, who also singled his first time up in the second inning. Next offering to him is swung on and missed to even things up at 2 apiece. This top 5 of the lineup has been almost the exact same for the past week. Tracy trying to round out that top 5 and prove that he belongs there. 2-2 is hit over towards shortstop. The throw over to second is in time. Over to first. They got him. A 6-4-3 double play, the second of the game. And this one ends the 4th inning. Bucs still trying to take that goose egg off of the scoreboard. We'll have to wait for their next opportunity. They trail 2-0 through 4 frames.
Ladies and gentlemen, some more refined sponsors: Moe's, O'Brady's, Safe and Sound, Northern Lights Imaging, Trailer Craft, and Little Caesar, all proud supporters of our Anchorage Bucs. Ladies and gentlemen, a new pitch on the mound for the Anchorage Bucs. From Texas A&M Texarkana, number 11, Randall Carter.
So a new pitcher on the mound after Luke McLeod allowed 2 runs and 3 hits through the first 4 frames. Walked 2 batters and struck out 5. So a very solid showing after giving up those 2 early runs, and that'll be R.J. Carver on the mound, making his first appearance in quite some time. This one in relief, trying to keep the Oilers at just 2 runs.
Yeah, only has 1 appearance on the mound this season. It came on June 15th, so about half a month ago, against the Glacier Pilots. Had a pretty forgettable outing. 1 inning pitched and gave up 4 earned runs.
So the first pitch from him is called a foul ball. It was a very close play over at third, but the home plate umpire ruled that it bounced on the left side of the foul line. As Isaac Fernandez, the second baseman, steps in after hitting a single in the second and being stranded for the rest of the inning. Next pitch is hit over towards third, and gloved down by Andrew Sheffield. Makes a astounding defensive play for a very flashy first out.
Catcher number 2, Harrison Jones.
Ball took one skip right into his glove. Was able to make the diving stop and calmly throw over to first. That'll bring up the 9-hole hitter, Garrison Jones. Carver gets a swing and miss on the first pitch to him. The Bucs bullpen has been lights out these past couple of games. Didn't allow a single run yesterday. 2 days prior, also a shutout performance. Carver not able to get the call on that one. It'll even things up at 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 out in the top of the 5th.
Yeah, they've relied on the same few pitchers in several of the games coming out of the bullpen. Now coming back to Carver, who in that only appearance he has started the game. So something a little bit different here today. Obviously need as much depth as they can as they continue on into the season and don't have another break like they did with 4 days off a few days ago.
They'll have a 2-day break next week, which is the longest break for the rest of the year. The other times they'll just get a quick day off before returning right back to play. That one misses all the way down low and rolled all the way to the backstop, but luckily nobody was aboard. So the count runs to 2-2. That one's hit softly over towards second base, fielded cleanly by Leach, and makes the short throw to first base in time for out number 2. So Carver able to retire the first 2 batters by way of a grounder. That'll bring us back to the top of the lineup to Shane Cannon. 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts, 1 swinging, 1 looking.
Both the leadoff hitters for these teams, the shortstop, and both of them have 2 strikeouts so far today.
Has not been their day so far. Carver trying to continue that trend. Misses on the first pitch for ball 1 to Cannon. Next offering a fastball that rides too far inside, so Cannon ahead in the count 2-0. And just finished up his freshman year at the University of California, San Diego. Fouls that one off right in front of home plate for strike 1. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Oilers still holding on to a 2-0 lead. Carver trying to keep it that way and give his team a chance to chip in or take the lead in the bottom half of the frame. We'll have to wait and see if they're able to do that. 2-1 in there to even things up at 2 apiece. Carver trying for a 1-2-3 inning, which is exactly what McLeod did in the 4th. Here comes the next offering, and that one hits Cannon right on the shoulder. Carver not able to put the Oilers down 1-2-3 as Cannon will reach aboard with 2 outs on the hit by pitch.
That extends the Oilers' lead as the most hit team in baseball. with 24 now. And Carver's family also in town for the past several days. Don't know if necessarily that influenced putting him in today. Kirk Schreider doesn't seem like the kind of guy to necessarily do that, but you never know. It's still nice that the family could come out and see RJ out on the mound.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure also played into effect that Carver hasn't seen the mound in a while. Took a brief trip down back to the continental part of the U.S. He was a groomsman in one of his friend's weddings. Always nice to see Coach Schreider giving his players a little bit of leeway when it comes to stuff like that. Bit of mutual respect. Is now a 1-1 count to Brooks Hassencleaver, who has walked his first 2 times up to the plate. Is now down in the count 1-2. Both of his counts have run full so far. Carver ahead in this one so far. Cannon stands at first. Has 3 stolen bases on the year. Could be a potential candidate to try to get number 4. That one's hit sharply over towards first base. A diving stop by Hank Smith. And he calmly steps on the bag. Some good defensive play from the corner infielders in this inning. And they're able to keep the Oilers off the scoreboard once again. So due up for the Bucs, it'll be the 6, 7, and 8 hole with Joe Forbes, Finn Leach, and AJ Garcia when we come back. So Cody Smathers remains on the mound for the Oilers. He's delivered 4 scoreless innings, looking for a 5th, as Joe Forbes will be the first one up to lead things off for the Bucs. Swings and misses at the first offering for strike 1. His first at-bat as a Buck resulted in a walk. Nobody on base this time around. Smathers comes, sets, and delivers. That one in there for strike 2.
The Bucs have really not gotten many guys on base, as evidenced by the fact that we are just over halfway through the second time through the lineup here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
That pitch inside for ball 1, now a 1-2 count to Joe Forbes.
Seems that the pitching is always on point when the bats are silent, and vice versa. I've had a couple games where both have been working at the same time.
Forbes swings and misses at that one for strike 3. That'll be the first out of the inning. And that now the 7th strikeout from Smathers. He struck out the side to start things off and has had a punch out in every single inning since. So now Finn Leach steps up with 1 out in The bottom of the fifth lays off of that one for ball one.
Finn Leach came up last time with bases loaded and no outs, and unfortunate that wasn't able to get anything as he is second in the ABL in RBIs.
Misses again, so now a 2-0 count to Leach after Forbes went down on strikes to lead off the inning. All three misses in almost the same exact spot, so Leach not having to pick the bat up off his shoulders yet. Smathers able to finally find the strike zone. Now a 3-1 count with one gone in the bottom of the fifth. That one misses down low for ball four. So Finn Leach able to draw one out walk in the bottom of the fifth. The Bucs have gotten a base runner now in back-to-back innings by way of a walk. They just haven't been able to do much with them.
Only have 2 hits, and both of those came in the second inning. So Smathers has really been on point today. Bucs can hopefully get him out of the inning at the end of this and get into the bullpen where they've seen success.
That's been the biggest thing for them, just be able to keep the game within reach when the starters are out there, and once both teams go to their bullpen, that's when they've done most of their damage. No 1 count to A.J. Garcia, who struck out swinging his first time up, and back-to-back swinging strikes puts him down in the count 0-2. Leach over on first isn't a huge threat to try to steal second, though he is certainly capable of doing so, has done so twice this summer. He'll stay put on this pitch, which misses outside for ball one.
That's a really excellent take. Anything on the outside part of the zone can be a little hard to read for the batter, and with 2 strikes, the ability to see that ball the whole way through, not swing the bat.
Here comes the 1-2 from Smathers. Another breaking ball that dips below the zone, and that'll even up the count at 2 apiece to Garcia. Smathers glances over at first where Finn Leach is at before delivering the 3-2. That'll get away from the catcher, Garrison Jones. It'll be ball 3, and it also advances Leach up to second. So a full count to Garcia. Leach advances on the wild pitch. And more importantly, that takes away the potential for a double play ball. We've seen twice that has already happened to the Bucs. But here comes the payoff pitch from Smathers. Garcia able to hold up with a check swing. Lays off for ball 4. Now it's runners on first and second with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. Bucs still chasing, down by 2 runs.
And we see Jones have to do a little bit more work behind the plate the past couple innings than he did the first several. And that time the ball just bouncing and getting away from him.
There doesn't appear to be any action in the Oilers bullpen currently, so they will stick with Smathers for the time being. As Andrew Sheffield steps up to the plate, he flew out to center field his first time up. Another breaking ball down low that Jones has to slide to his side and keep from advancing the 2 runners. So now we'll have a quick mound visit. Very interesting to see that even in the 5th inning, the Oilers do not appear to have anybody throwing yet.
And what at the time was the best outing from a starting pitcher in the ABL was with Prendez in the final game between the Bucs and the Oilers over in Kenai, where he went 7 innings. Has since been surpassed, or at least had a few guys who have had 7-inning outings. But so that just shows that the Oilers are willing to put their guy out there for quite some time.
It's very rare you see that, especially with virtually all these pitchers being put on pitch counts by their coaches back at their schools. Obviously, these coaches in the ABL want to win, but they have to heed to what they've been told by their players, and at the end of the day, their college coaches have the final say in everything. We've seen that happen multiple times for the Bucs, where they've had a starting pitcher that's had a great outing, but they've reached that 70 to 80 pitch mark, and coach is not wanting to risk any injury over the summer.
I'm honestly wondering if that may have happened a little bit with McLeod. He'd only pitched 4. Now you have his total pitch count over there, potentially. Are you able to see it right now?
I'll have it on when we come back to the top of the order. I don't have all of the pitchers. I just have the Oilers side for the time being. But
other than that home run, McLeod had been very excellent. I was a little surprised to see Carver coming in the 5th inning.
And Smathers up to 80 pitches, now 81, as that one is inside for ball 3. Most of these arms out here in the ABL have their college coaches topping them out around that range. Wonder if Smathers, pitching coach over at Cal Baptist, a teammate of John Carlson, who we saw go for quite some time yesterday as well, so maybe the Cal Baptist pitching staff not wanting to hold back on their arms and letting them run a little more free. 3-1 will dip below for ball 4, and 3 straight walks have loaded the bases. Still with only 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd, or excuse me, bottom of the 5th.
This is a really great chance for Camden Lanphier. Has 2 strikeouts in today's game, but with bases loaded, only 1 out, can really do some damage and break this game open for the Bucs.
We've seen him come up in clutch situations time and time again throughout the season. He chops one over towards 3rd. The tag will be laid on Andrew Garcia, but a run will come across the plate, so it's an RBI fielder's choice from Camden Lanphier.
Now batting for the Anchorage Bucs, right fielder number 19, Andrew.
So Finn Leach will score. The deficit is cut in half. Bucs now down just 2-1. Runners on first and second with 2 gone for Andrew Raymond. Raymond has struck out and grounded out to second base in his 2 plate appearances. Lays off of the first pitch, but grabs the outer part of the zone for strike 1. Next pitch gets behind Garrison Jones once again, and the runners move up to second and third. So a big chance for Raymond becomes even bigger with now 2 runners in scoring position, and a ball that reaches the outfield grass could very well score both of them.
And that's an indication of a somewhat tired arm. When you start missing bigger and bigger, because in the first couple innings you're still fresh and you might be missing by a few inches. But once they start landing in the turf, getting away from your catcher, I think that Smathers might be a little gassed out there.
So the 1-1 misses down low. Now a 2-1 hitters count for Raymond. Bucs down 2-1 after Finn Leach crossed home plate safely on that grounder to the 3rd. Lanphier on second, over at first. is Andrew Sheffield, as Raymond swings and misses on that fastball for strike 2. Smathers just a strike away from leaving the game with a 1-run lead. Next offering from him, called strike 3 over the plate. Raymond goes down on strikes for the second time today, and the Bucs strand 2 more. They've now left 4 on the base paths. They're able to get one back though, as they trail 2-1 heading into the 6th inning.
Ladies and gentlemen, now pitching for the Anchorage Bucs, number 12 from Colorado School of Mines, Caden Burkhart. Batting for the Oilers.
So the Oilers have had their lead cut in half. Bucs now trailing by just 1. And RJ Carver will leave the game. Cade Burkhart in after Carver put up zeros on the scoreboard last time. The first pitch to Mark Nellis is a bunt attempt that winds up foul. So Carver did his job. He got the 1 scoreless inning, and now Burkhart, who has become a frequent flyer out of the bullpen, now on the mound and gets a swing and miss off the fastball.
Yeah, Burkhart with 5 1/3 innings pitched, an 8.4 ERA, but that really came after one bad outing against the Oilers on the 17th. But in another appearance against the Miners on the 22nd, which was his most recent appearance, he pitched an inning and a third and only gave up 1 hit.
Yeah, it was a part of that run rule loss. He gave up 5 runs before he could record an out, but was coming on just 2 days of rest, so it was a big ask from him. He just wasn't able to find the strike zone very often, but he's done so here early. Misses on the 1-2, so it's 2-2 count to Mark Nellis, the center fielder who has flown out and grounded out in his 2 plate appearances. Next offering, a check swing that Nellis was just barely able to hold up in time, and he runs the count full. Burkhart with 3 straight balls after being ahead in the count 0-2. Looking for his first out. Payoff pitch from him, swung on and missed for strike 3. Got him with the breaking ball down low. That is the 6th combined strikeout between Burkhart and McLeod.
First baseman number 19,
4 have been swinging, 2 have been swinging, 2 have been looking. So the Bucs have been able to use the Oilers' aggressiveness against them. First pitch to Luke Lusky. Slider that grabs the outer part of the plate for strike 1. Lusky is the difference right now. Had that 2-run homer in the top of the first. He struck out swinging his second time around in the 3rd inning. Facing a 0-1 count, he pops one into right center field. That's going to get by and down. But a great play from Andrew Raymond limits it to a single. So Lusky is aboard with a 1-out base knock. First hit for the Oilers since the 2nd inning. Or a 2-out single from Isaac Fernandez was all they got. They've really run out of offense since that first frame.
Lusky has seen unusual success here against the Bucs. In the previous matchups, only has 3 hits in total in the 5 games. Now with 2 here today.
And on back-to-back pitches, back-to-back singles for the Oilers as Musil steps in and hits the first pitch he sees right back up the middle into center field. So runners are aboard first and second base with 1 out in the top of the 6th. Oilers, after giving up a run, trying to respond with some offense of their own. Carson McCormick steps in, 0 for 2 on the day. Takes a fastball in the inside corner of the zone for strike 1. Long look at second for Burkhart before delivering the next offering in the dirt to even things up at 1 apiece. McCormick just finished up his sophomore year at Allen Community College as a native of Clinton, Arkansas. Saw just 16 games of action, but hit a homer with 7 RBIs and 5 hits. Struck out 8 times and walked 7. Fouls that one back and out of play for strike 2.
Burkhart doing a great job staying inside the zone. It's been primarily fastballs that we've seen in a variety of spots in the zone. That first strike was inside, but on that one went up higher. And a swing and foul back from McCormick.
McCormick yet to catch up to it in this at-bat. Can't do there. Another swinging strikeout for Burkhart, his 2nd of the inning, for out number 2.
I wish we had a radar gun because that ball had some zip on it for sure.
Yeah, we don't have all the technology in the world up here, but that one definitely passed the eye test.
My guess, 103. I'm kidding, of course, but it was very, very fast.
Definitely sitting at maybe the mid-90s, 94, 95 range. That pitch to Jack Holubowski finds the zone once again. Burkhart attacking a lot of these batters. Has been rewarded with a pair of strikeouts, but the Oilers have responded with a pair of singles. Which side will break in this at-bat? 0-1 fouled back behind the netting. For strike 2, Burkhart now ahead in the count once again.
Just needs to do what he's been doing so far. Likely just going to deliver another fastball. Try to get it past the bat of Holubowski.
Here comes the 0-2 from him. Fastball upstairs. Forbes popped out of his stance to keep either runner from getting any ideas. Neither bag being closely covered by a defender. The Bucs infield playing straight up. 1-2 count to Holubowski, who is 0 for 2 on the day. Lines that one right over the head of Camden Lanfear. The left fielder, Taylor Tracy, has some trouble with it. And that'll allow Luke Lusky to score and Owen Musil to advance to 3rd. An RBI single for Jack Holubowski. Once again brings the Oilers lead to 2.
Now batting for the Oilers.
Probably would have been able to get Musel at third had Tracy not fumbled for just an extra second. It's wild how small the margins are in baseball. Is just couldn't quite get the transfer in time, and that gets an extra base for Musel.
Isaac Fernandez steps in and takes strike 1 from Berghardt. Oilers lead 3-1. Right after the Bucs were able to finally score a run, as that one's fouled down the right field line and out of play for strike 2.
Brought to you by Associated Builders and Contractors of Alaska.
Berghardt with runners at the corners trying to keep him there. Once ahead in the count 0-2. He'll throw over to first to keep Jack Holubowski there. Fernandez 1 for 2 with a single and a grounder. Swings and misses at the 0-2 for strike 3, so a hat trick of strikeouts for Berghardt, but the single from Holubowski and the fielding mishap in left field allow a run to score. Bucs trailing by 2 heading into the bottom of the 6th.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, check out that beer garden for a great lineup of beer, seltzers, and wines, and a concession stand serving up all kinds of delicious treats for you, and top of the line Boar's Head meat products. Some more of our fine sponsors tonight is Alaska Highway Safety Office Night, so I want to thank them for their sponsorship and partnership with the Anchorage Bucs. Check them out at their tent behind the Bucs dugout for more information. Global Credit Union, State Farm, Alaska Towing and Wrecking, and Club Paris, all proud supporters of your Anchorage Bucs. On the mound for the Oilers, number 10, Gabe Smith. Now batting for the Anchorage Bucs, designated hitter number 15, Taylor.
So after 5 innings of work, Smathers' day is over. It'll be Gabe Smith, the Kenai native, to relieve him of his duties. His first batter he faces is Ty Denton. First pitch to him is in there for strike 1. Smathers gave up his only run of the game in the last inning. Allowed just 2 hits while striking out 6 batters. Very solid day for him. Smith misses down low to even things up at 1 apiece. to Ty Denton, who has struck out both times he's come up to the plate.
Be huge to go ahead and get one back in this inning. So we know that the Bucs like to come back, keep things close. But for my own personal heart rate and blood pressure, if we could, you know, maybe score some right here, that'd be nice.
I'm sure Kirk Schreider wouldn't disagree with you on that. 1-2 count to Denton from Gabe Smith. This is on the off-speed pitch down in the dirt to even things up at 2 balls and 2 strikes to the leadoff man. Here comes the 2-2 to Denton. Just a bit inside, and he runs the count full. Trying to start off the bottom of the 6th on the right side. The payoff pitch, called strike 3 at the knees. So Denton goes down looking for the first out of the inning.
Bucs obviously, as I mentioned earlier, strike out more than any other team. And it comes there for Ty Denton, his 3rd of the day. 2nd looking.
So now Hank Smith steps up to the plate. He has a walk and a single. So he fouls off the first pitch he sees for strike 1.
Is it time that we address the fact that we can hear music in our headphones when we...
I think it is. We've noticed it for quite some time.
It's every game.
I think the last couple of games, I didn't hear it as...
I think when it's cloudy, because we're picking up radio waves.
Oh, that's actually a very good point.
Somehow, I don't know how. We don't have an antenna on our headphone box.
Yeah, I have no idea if...
I don't
know if it's going all the way to the stream. I hope not.
I don't think it is.
But it is... We kind of get like a little radio music break for ourselves.
Every now and then you can tell what the song is.
Exactly. It's strong at some points, but the argument you bring up of when it's cloudy we haven't heard it, that's actually a very good point. I didn't think about that.
Because there's not a cloud in the sky, and it's the loudest I think it's ever been.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I'm gonna have to do some Googling about if a remote mix 3.5 picks up radio waves. Because I don't get it.
I don't either. It's definitely interesting. We don't have an antenna of any kind. This doesn't have any sort of like type of channel that we're on. There's no Bluetooth, at least I don't think. It's
Weird.
very interesting, but either way, it's a 3-1 count to Hank Smith with 1 out. Fouls that one off, and it's back-to-back full counts to start Gabe Smith's outing. Battle of the Smiths. Not the band, but Hank Smith and Gabe Smith. So a full count. Here comes the payoff pitch from Smith to Smith. And our Hank Smith wins that battle. He draws his 2nd walk of the day. He remains quote-unquote perfect. Has reached base safely every time thus far. So 1 out walk generates a base runner for Taylor Tracy, who has also singled but then grounded into a double play to end the 4th inning. First pitch from Gabe Smith misses out wide for ball 1. With how common of a first name that Smith is, I'm surprised this is the first time we've had 2 players with that same last name face off against each other. I figure there might be a couple more in this league.
You would think.
1-0 is hit over towards the left side of the infield, and it gets past the glove of Jack Holubowski, who could not make the diving stop. So Tracy with his 2nd single of the night. And that advances Hank Smith up to second base, so it's runners aboard, first and second with one out for Joe Forbes, who is 0 for 1 with a walk and swinging strikeout so far.
That single looked almost identical to Tracy's hit back in the second inning, finding its way right between the third baseman and shortstop and just trickling its way into left field.
Forbes hit 2 home runs in the Northwoods Leagues as a part of the Rockford Rivets. Forbes takes strike one from Gabe Smith, his team, the Rivets, being broadcasted by my good friend Colgan Herschel.
Okay, is that behind us a radio tower?
It appears so.
Okay, so that's what it is then.
Or maybe a cell phone tower. I can't tell. I don't know which.
I don't think it's a cell phone tower.
That one hit just a bit foul for strike two. But that would make sense.
And I looked it up, and it can, I mean, obviously, as we are experiencing, it can pick up radio signal. But
Does this mean that the radio is picking up our broadcast?
I don't think so. I think we're only receiving. I don't think it's sending anything out. I don't know. More Googling to do, I guess.
For all we know, the people of Anchorage are hearing us in their cars.
Probably just as confused.
The 0-2 is popped up into shallow left field. Usul is under it to make the catch for out number 2. Both runners will stay where they are. So 2 gone in the bottom of the 6th. Runners at first and second. Bucs trying to cut into the 2-run deficit that they are currently facing, with Finn Leach stepping up to the plate.
The Bucs have struggled today with runners in scoring position. Have only stranded 4, but several times had runners on second and third.
Leach watches a slider drop into the zone for strike one. He walked his first time up and came around to score off of a fielder's choice ground out from Camden Lanphier. Has a chance to cut into this deficit with a runner in scoring position. An extra base hit could potentially score Tracy from first, depending on how deep it is. But first, he's facing a 0-1 count. He hits that one high and deep into center field, but not deep enough as Mark Nellis comes under it and makes the catch for out number 3. So the Bucs get 2 more base runners. They strand them for their 5th and 6th runners left on base this game. They trail 3-1 heading into the 7th inning. You're listening to the Bucs YouTube channel.
Karen Norsworthy, Tammy Williams, Stephanie Burgoon and her crews, Molly McManaman, and Eric Kurzweg, all proud host families of your Anchorage Bucs players. Thank you. Let's give them a big round of applause for their continued support of our Anchorage Bucs and these fine young student athletes playing here this summer. Thank you to those folks. Also, it's Alaska Highway Safety Office night, so thank those folks for coming out and checking out in their tent for more information and some fun games. That's all over there behind the Anchorage Bucs dugout.
Oh, 16's up. That's Luke Ivanov.
New pitcher for the Anchorage Bucs from Whitman College, number 16, Luke Ivanov. Now batting for the Oilers, catcher number 2, Garrison Jones.
Caden Berghart went one and done. Second pitcher to do that is now the 4th pitcher total. Third from the bullpen for the Bucs will be Luke Ivanov, the right-hander. First batter he faces is Garrison Jones.
Yeah, Berghart exits the game with 1 inning pitched. Gave up 1 run, it being earned, 2 hits, and had 3 strikeouts and no walks.
So now Luke Ivanov steps up. Bunt attempt from Garrison Jones is called strike 2 as he did not hold up. Ivanov was the other part behind Berghart. Of that 16-6 loss, he threw an inning and gave up 7 runs. Only 4 of those were earned. Making his 4th total appearance. He's only thrown 4 innings. The 0-2 is fouled away. Garrison Jones able to stay alive after he's flown out and grounded out here today.
Yeah, that run rule game was clearly just a weird day for the Bucs in general. Haven't really had anything close since. It seems that since that game, honestly, I think the Bucs have locked in a little bit.
Yeah, it may have just awakened something in them as that bunt attempt is called strike 3. If you bunt with 2 strikes and foul it away, you get punched out. So the first time we've seen that this summer.
I've seen plenty of bunt attempts before, but they've all held off when it got to 2 strikes.
Jones plays with fire and gets burnt there, so that'll bring up Shane Cannon. You like that?
Yeah.
He struck out twice, but he got hit by a pitch in the 5th inning. Chops that one over towards shortstop. It's fielded cleanly by Camden Lanfear. The low throw is no problem for Hank Smith, who makes the catch for a quick out number 2.
Did you practice that fire one in the mirror?
No, I'm just a sports writer. That's straight off the dome.
Ah.
I've used that a couple times in my stories with, being the Sun Devils, being a hot place.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Gotta love some of those cliche phrases. I got loads of them. So now Brooks Hassencleaver steps up, takes strike 1 in the upper part of the zone. Ivanov has retired the first 2 batters he's faced in quite a quick manner. Hassencleaver has reached safely twice and grounded out to Hank Smith over at first base as he swings and misses for strike 2.
Quick outing would be huge. There were 6 batters in the 6th inning. A nice 1-2-3 from Ivanov could swing some momentum back the Bucs' way.
They'll take all they can get heading into the final third of the game as this one is hit over towards second base. Sheffield playing a bit of a shift, fields it cleanly. Those over to first base for out number 3, so a 1-2-3 inning for Luke Ivanov, who retires the side. And that'll bring the 7th inning stretch, which past couple of games has usually ignited something into the Bucs. They'll try to pull off another late game comeback, trailing by 2 runs, down to their final 9 outs.
Thanks for joining me, folks. Don't forget, concession stands open. Head on over for some.
He's not necessarily wrong. What were we just talking about?
the RNDC and Alaska
I don't know.
I can't remember.
There was something I was going to say.
I was going to say, were we talking about something? Whatever.
Oh, yeah. It's a Leach over a second. I think you said Sheffield.
Oh, did I say Sheffield? Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
Whoopsie. He's just always in my mind.
Understandable mistake.
Anchorage Bucs center fielder number 3, A.J. Garcia.
So A.J. Garcia will lead things off in the bottom of the 7th. Bucs still trailing by a pair of runs, trying to make up for that lost ground. Just 3 hits up to this point, waiting for their offense to come alive. Bunt attempt from Garcia is pulled back in time for ball 1. He walked back in the 5th inning. Was one of 3 batters to be walked. It's the only time that Bucs were able to put up a run. Bunt is laid down there, but just barely foul. That'll be strike 1 and even things up. As Gabe Smith back out there for his 2nd inning of work, was able to strand 2 runners on the base paths. 1-1 count to Garcia. Slider that drops in there for strike 2. No bunt attempt from Garcia there. Likely won't see one with 2 strikes.
Though you never know.
Will he give me an opportunity to bring out another cliche phrase?
Oh, man.
He won't, but he swings and misses at that one for strike 3. Second time today he's gone down on strikes. That one for the first out of the inning.
Now batting for the Anchorage Bucs, third baseman number 2, Andrew Sheffield.
So it'll be a pinch hitter for Andrew Sheffield. Now Carson Umfress stepping up to the plate. We have yet to see him play anywhere in the infield, and Sheffield being a third baseman, it'll be interesting to see what they do in the top of the 8th, but Umfress making his first appearance of the game.
Wondering if we might see Hayden Miller just come straight in for Umfress. But we have seen some odd things moving around in the infield in the later half of games. Would not be surprising if there's some massive shift coming into the 8th.
That one's fouled away. We saw that happen 2 days ago against the Oilers. They shifted around about 6 defenders in 1/2 inning. They have a multitude of players that can shift around. You wonder if we'll see Umfress switch with someone in the outfield, or, like you said, could see Hayden Miller, who has also played third base. Plenty of scenarios, but for the time being, an 0-2 count to Carson Umfress. He lays off of that one for ball 1. One, 2 to him is upstairs. The count moves even to the Kansas native.
Umfress has been very valuable on the mound as of late. 15 1/3 innings pitched. And he pitched 2 days ago.
Sends one high and into shallow left field. The shortstop Shane Cannon calls everyone off and catches the pop up for out number 2. So Umfress not able to generate any offense in the bottom of the order. And that'll bring up Camden Lanfear, the leadoff man. Reached safely on a fielder's choice back in the 5th. His grounder was the one that scored the only run the Bucs have so far. Trying to get a 2-out rally started here. Swings at the first pitch he sees into shallow center field. That's going to drop in for a 2-out single. Mark Nellis and Carson McCormick are not able to get to it. So the first hit of the inning comes on the first pitch that Lanfear sees. So at the top of the order coming up, could be a great chance for the Bucs to get something started.
Lanfear has 4 stolen bases on the season. Very speedy on the base paths in general.
He often takes off on the first pitch too. Smith probably aware of that. He'll go on the pitch here. It's a hit and run. Raymond sends that a mile high into right field. But it's right into the glove of Carson McCormick. So the hit and run is unsuccessful as Raymond flies into right field to end the inning and strand Landfear. Bucs heading into the 8th, down 2 runs. We'll see what defensive substitutions they make when we come back.
New pitch on the mound for the Anchorage Bucs.
So the Bucs are following suit with what they've done the last 3 innings. Now Lucas Perez on the mound. Luke Ivanov pitched a 1-2-3 inning where he struck out a batter, didn't allow any hits, and now Perez trying to continue that streak.
Ivanov went out to the mound in between innings, and then Kirk Schreider said, "Hey man, you're not on the mound anymore."
Might have been a last-minute call too that Ivanov wasn't aware of, but
Possibly so.
hard to blame him. He had a great 7th inning. Perez now will try to follow that up. As Mark Nellis, the center fielder, steps up to the plate, still looking to reach base safely for the first time. First offering from Perez is a fastball up and in for ball 1.
It's been a while since we've seen Perez pitch. He threw in the 2nd game of the season against the Chinooks and only made it through 2/3 of an inning, gave up 3 hits and 2 runs, and has primarily played catcher since then.
That was his listed position at Chapman University this year. The Newport Beach native played in 11 games, hit a homer and 2 RBIs. He's made a couple of starts at catcher, but is branching out to pitching here this summer, but he's quickly behind in the count. 3 balls and no strikes. Able to pound the zone with a fastball down the middle for strike 1 to Nellis. Not very often do batters get the green light with a 3-0 count. Perez trying to work himself back into this at-bat, and he does there with a fastball on the outer corner. Back-to-back strikes, runs the count full.
And we were right that they pulled Umphris immediately and put Hayden Miller in at 3rd.
Miller has been very reliable at the hot corner. That one is popped into shallow center just over the head of Camden Landfair, who wasn't able to catch up to the ball, so it'll be a leadoff single into center field for Mark Nellis. And a base runner for the cleanup man, Luke Lusky, who's having himself quite the day. He homered in the first inning and singled and later came around to score in the sixth. So he's been involved in all 3 runs for the Oilers thus far. First offering from Perez is a fastball that can't grab the top corner of the strike zone, just misses not by much for ball 1. Lusky did strike out swinging in the third. That pitch able to drop into the upper half of the zone for strike 1 and even things up at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Lusky just one of 2 players to reach safely twice, and the only to do so off of hits, the other being Hassan Cleaver, who has 2 walks back in the first and the third inning.
1-1 to him is hit well out towards left field. Going back on it is Taylor Tracy. He won't get to it, and it's off the wall and past him. Rounding third and coming home is Mark Nellis. There won't be a throw from Camden Lanfear. And Luke Lusky delivers once again, an RBI double. Oilers now leading 4-1 here in the top of the 8th.
Whatever Lusky had for breakfast, he should probably have for the rest of the season, as that is his 3rd hit of the game. I mentioned earlier, had 4 through 5 games against the Bucs. Has now quite added to that total a lot.
So he, in some way, has been responsible for all 4 of the runs that have been scored today for the Oilers. He's really been the only guy that has given the Bucs pitching staff real problems. His Owen Musil steps in after he singled as well in the 6th inning, but was stranded at third base. Perez trying to get a couple outs here, still looking for his first one. Gets a swing and miss from Musil there to even the count up at 1 apiece. The Bucs bullpen has been very reliable throughout this 4-game win streak. Now given up 2 runs in the last 3 innings. Musil fouls that one back for a 1-2 count. They're not fully to blame either. The Bucs have only been able to put up 1 run on the scoreboard. It's not often you can win games when your offense is only able to get that many runs in just 4 hits. We'll try to pull off another late game comeback, but right now Perez is just focused on keeping them in a scenario where they can do that. This is upstairs on that fastball. That'll even the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Still nobody out. Luke Lusky over at second after driving in a run with his double. Here comes the 2-2. Swung on and missed on the slider. Perez getting the strikeout there for out number 1. Could be a big confidence booster for him. So now Carson McCormick steps up, a guy who has struck out twice, 1 swinging, 1 looking. Perez checks on Lusky at second for his first pitch is chopped over towards second base. Finn Leach fields it cleanly. So Perez gets the second out, but Lusky will advance to third, now just 90 feet away from the plate.
And up 3 runs, usually not wanting to get that second out, but they'll take it to get the runner ahead. And with Holubowski, who hit a single his last time up, feeling like they might be able to add to this lead and get some more cushioning for their bullpen.
He's the one that drove home Lusky. The first pitch almost comes in and hits him. Able to duck away from that.
If he hadn't moved, that certainly would have hit him right in the back. Maybe on the shoulder. Either way, would have head to first.
Nonetheless, it's ball one to Holubowski, who is 1 for 3 on the day. Perez responds by firing a fastball right down Main Street to even up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 outs. Oilers up 4-1 in the top of the 8th, have already scored 1 run, trying to add on to their total with Lusky at third. Next offering just grabs the inner part of the plate. Perez ahead in the count 1-2. Trying to get out of this inning and strand Lusky at third. Receives the call and comes set. Here comes the 1-2 from Perez. It's popped up. Hank Smith giving chase, but will not be able to grab it as it carried out of play. Holubowski able to stay alive in the at-bat, still down 1-2.
Now Perez just needs to get one more pitch here to get a swing and get out of the inning. Whatever his best pitch is, it might have some movement on it. Could likely lead to a whiff from Jack Holubowski.
Goes for it there, but it hit the bat of Holubowski. He ducked out of the way. Was about to be a wild pitch that could have scored Lusky, but it just barely hit off of his bat.
Man, you do not see that often. That was a strange-looking play. Like you said, would have been a wild pitch if Holubowski's bat were anywhere other than where it was.
So the count stays 1-2 after, we'll call it the foul ball. This one is popped straight away behind home plate. Forbes is able to make the catch for out number 3, and Perez is able to hold the Oilers to just the 1 run, but the Bucs now down by 3 and are going to need some offense in a hurry if they want to keep their winning streak alive.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to take a moment and thank some of our fine sponsors. I found all sponsors associated Builders and Contractors Alaska and Alaska Restaurant Supply. Our stolen base sponsor is Safe and Sound. And our home run sponsor, Little Caesars Pizza. And pitching change, called the bullpen, brought to you by Pepsi of Alaska. Also want to thank our athletic trainer, Lynn Young, and Orthopedic Physicians of Alaska for allowing us to borrow her on these evenings. The Alaska Club for helping keep these young men healthy and safe. And our Team Car Care Center, Alaska Springs of Performance, and Alaska Towing and Wrecking, proud supporters of your Anchorage Bucs.
No, he's been out there. Yeah, I think this is his 3rd inning of work.
Ladies and gentlemen, now batting for the Anchorage Bucs, designated number 15, Tyler Denton.
So the Bucs are down to the last 6 outs as Ty Denton fouls off the first pitch he sees. Gabe Smith back out there for his 3rd inning of work. He's delivered 2 scoreless frames so far. New pitcher on the mound for the Bucs. This time it'll be Wyatt Schottel. Takes the mound in the top of the 9th. Bucs trailing 4-1. Isaac Fernandez steps in and takes 2 pitches outside of the zone, now ahead in the count 2-0.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi seemed to have cut out on us just very randomly. But thank you to the few who stuck around, I suppose.
So 3 straight balls from Schottel, who has not been seen for about a week or so, was one of the pitchers that was featured up in Kenai. Not able to find the strike zone in his first batter. It's a 4-pitch walk to Isaac Fernandez to lead things off in the top of the 9th. Schottel making his 5th appearance. He's pitched 4 innings, 1 in each appearance. Gave up 2 runs in the 5-3 loss to the Matsu Miners game before. Pitched an inning and a third. Was tagged with the loss against the Oilers in a 6-5 game. Still looking for the first strike of his appearance. It's now 5 straight balls to start off the 9th. Okay. So now a 2-0 count to Garrison Jones with Isaac Fernandez aboard to begin things in the top of the 9th. Jones 0 for 3 on the day. Schottel will come set and deliver. Finally able to find the strike zone. So now a 2-1 count to Garrison Jones. Schottel, the first lefty that the Bucs have thrown out here today. He'll look over at Fernandez at first before delivering the 2-1 in there to even up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Still looking for the first out of the top of the 9th. Bucs trying to keep the 3-run deficit at that and give themselves a chance to come back in the bottom half of the frame. Comes a 2-2. That rides way inside and almost hits Jones, but will run the count full. Jones, one of the few left-handed batters in this lineup, giving Schottel the technical advantage. Runner goes on the payoff pitch, which is fouled back and out of play. Oilers trying to implement a hit and run there. Was surely a close play. Jones not taking any chances, though, and protecting the plate. So the count remains full with still nobody out. Another payoff pitch is a fastball outside for ball 4, so Schottel walks the first 2 batters he faces. Now has runners aboard first and second with nobody out.
Now batting for the Oilers, shortstop number 5, Shane Cannon.
So now Shane Cannon, top of the order, will step in with another RBI situation. 0 for 3. Bunt attempt comes way in. And that one will come all the way in and hit him. So that will load the bases with nobody out. Schottel into some trouble here. He's really struggled with his control, and that'll warrant a mound visit from the Bucs pitching coach with nobody in the bullpen, so it's likely it'll be Schottel to go all the way. It's Aaron Puffer, the pitching coach, out there to try to calm down his lefty. The Oilers have loaded the bases here in the top of the 9th. Still ahead 4-1 with nobody out. They have a big opportunity to break this game wide open Bucs still trying to hold on to hope that they can pull off a comeback in the bottom of the ninth. So after the mound visit, it'll be the designated hitter, Brooks Hassencleaver, who, after drawing 2 walks his first 2 times up, hasn't really had much success at the plate. He's grounded out his last 2 plate appearances. Has the bases juice with nobody out and could break this game open. First offering to him is popped into shallow left field. Trying to come down on it is Taylor Tracy, but it'll just wind up foul. A huge break for the Bucs, as that one almost landed in no man's land.
That foul ball brought to you by Alaska Restaurant Supply.
So Hassencleaver will slowly walk back to the plate after he thought that was going to land fair, and the wind blowing from right to left is still holding strong, likely carried that one past the foul line after it looked like it was going to wind up in play. Every infielder except Camden Lanford, the shortstop, playing almost at the infield grass to try to avoid any grounder, and will almost certainly be a play at the plate if they are able to field it, but Schottel misses with that fastball to Hassencleaver. That'll even up the count at 1 apiece. Here comes the next offering. Check swing that he went around on, and now a 1-2 count. Schottel trying to get a very important first out with the bases loaded. Now Camden Lanford will creep in to join his teammates on the outer part of the infield grass. The 1-2, called strike 3 on the outer part of the plate. Huge strikeout from Schottel. Now 1 gone, bases remain loaded, but it becomes much easier to escape the inning unscathed.
Center fielder number 8, Mark Nellis.
So now Mark Nellis, the center fielder, steps up to the plate. He singled and came around to score his last time up. Stands at just 1 for 4 on the day. Fastball from Schottel is inside for ball 1. Schottel now up to 17 pitches and only 6 have been strikes. Really trying to find the zone. He was able to in his last at-bat. He does so there. It's a sharply hit ball into center field. It's caught by A.J. Garcia. The throw at the plate, though, not in time. So Nellis able to bring in Isaac Fernandez from third base, and that'll bring the score to 5-1 in favor of the Oilers. An RBI sac fly out to center. And now the most dangerous hitter in this lineup, Luke Lusky, steps up to the plate with runners still at first and second and 2 outs. First offering from Schottel, a slider that grabs the inner part of the plate for strike 1. Schottel trying to keep this game within reach for the Bucs. They've pulled off several late game comebacks. This one would top them all, though, trailing by 4. A double steal attempt. No throw from Forbes behind the dish. Tried to frame the ball instead, which he was unable to do, and that'll even up the count at 1 apiece. So both runners are able to steal second and third. Now 2 runners in scoring position for Lusky. 1-1 from Schottel is a fastball way inside for ball 2. Forbes with a quick reaction to avoid disaster and keep that ball in front of him. So a 2-1 hitters count with 2 out. In the top of the 9th, Oilers up 5-1, threatening to score more. 2-1 is hit high and deep into right field. Going back on it is Raymond. He's under it to make the catch for out number 3. So Schottle's able to strand a pair of base runners, and now the Bucs will need to score at least 4 to keep this game going. They trail 5-1.
New pitch on the mound for the Peninsula Oilers. Number 23, Nathaniel Ramirez.
Bucs are down to the last 3 outs with 8, 9, and 1 due up, and it'll come against a new pitcher, Nathaniel Ramirez. The Bucs have already seen him twice and have hit him pretty well. Both times they faced him, it came in just 1 inning where he gave up a pair of runs both times. AJ Garcia will be the first man he faces as he misses down and away for ball 1. Bucs will need a lot from their offense if they want to overcome this 4-run deficit, as they've scored just 1 run on 5 hits through 8 innings.
It's weird how you can go 10 runs and just 2 days later only be able to score 1 so far. Goes to show how strange baseball can be.
They've also stranded 9 runners on the bases. They had the bases loaded in the 2nd inning with nobody out, and a double play and strikeout ended the inning still without any runs. And they loaded the bases once again in the 5th inning, only got 1 run off of a ground out. So it's been tough in situational hitting, as AJ Garcia down in the count 1-2 is able to lay off of that pitch to move the count even. Here comes the 2-2 from Ramirez. Misses down low to run the count full. Garcia walked in the 5th inning trying to do that or more to start off the bottom of the 9th for the Bucs. Here comes the payoff pitch from Ramirez. It's hit well into right field, and it'll wind up just foul. If he's able to time that one up, it could have gone the distance, but it'll be a foul ball.
We know he's capable of going the distance. He did it in the first game. yet to do so since, but that looked good coming off the bat. Sounded good, too.
He's had a couple doubles since. That kind of looks similar. But it just winds up foul. So another payoff pitch from Ramirez, and that's up high for ball 4. So a leadoff walk to start things in the 9th for A.J. Garcia. And that is going to bring up Hayden Miller, who came in for Carson Umphris as a defensive substitution at third base after Umphris pinch hit for Sheffield in the 7th inning. This is the first appearance for Miller. Struck out 3 times yesterday and then was later pulled in the 8th inning. First offering to him is inside for ball 1. Another guy that's capable of hitting one over the fence. Him and Garcia are teammates at Bradley, and they started off their summer with the Bucs hot with a home run each in the opening game. It's been a tough stretch for him since. Has a chance to turn that around as he takes strike 1 on the inner part of the plate.
You need to be careful with any home runs out into the left field. There's a soccer game going on in that field just on the other side of the wall. Don't want to cause any injuries over there.
Ramirez delivers the 1-1, swung on and miss for strike 2. Miller now down in the count 1-2. He's already struck out over 20 times this season. Had a hat trick of strikeouts yesterday, trying to avoid going down on strikes once again. 1-2 is popped into the infield. Luke Lusky, the first baseman, calls everybody off and makes the easy catch for the first out. So Miller unable to advance the runner. Now Camden Lanfear steps in. He's reached base safely his last 2 times up. One of the best hitters on this team. The Bucs could really use that right now. They trail 5-1 with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. A.J. Garcia over at first after drawing a leadoff walk. Bucs trying to continue their 4-game win streak, but it'll take a lot as Lanfear takes strike 1. After striking out in his first 2 plate appearances, he's reached base safely twice off of a fielder's choice in a single, trying to continue his latter part of his game today. 0-1 slider that drops in there for strike 2. Lanfear quickly down to his last strike. Garcia yet to threaten to steal over at first. He's done that several times this season. Definitely has the speed to do so. Stays put on this one as it's hit past the first baseman, Lusky. Garcia rounding second. He's digging for third, and he'll get in there safely. So Lanfear delivers with a 1-out single into right field. That advances Garcia up to third. Bucs have a little bit of momentum here, trying to keep this game alive.
And have now come into a pretty vital part of the lineup. Certainly not necessarily the batters that Ramirez wants to face here, starting with Raymond, who has pretty good on-base percentage and some pop in his bat.
Raymond has struck out twice, is 0 for 4 on the day in total. Lays off of that pitch outside for ball 1. He became notorious for drawing walks, multiple a game, but has not been able to these last couple of outings. He's in the head in the count 1-0 with 1 gone and runners at the corners. Next offering from Ramirez drops below the zone for ball 2. Raymond flew out to right field to end the 7th inning after Lanphier was able to give the Bucs a bit of hope. 2-0 to him. In there for a strike at the knees. Last 2 pitches missed low. Raymond thought that one was going to as well, but was able to stay in the zone for strike 1. Raymond still ahead with 2 balls and a strike. Bucs down to their final 2 outs with runners at the corners, down 4 runs. Ramirez will check over at first with Lanphier, who is very speedy. He's been known to try to steal second, doesn't there.
Likely would have been safe earlier, but Raymond attempting the hit and run, but popped out to right field. That would have been his 5th stolen base on the season.
2-1, swung on and missed for strike 2, and after being ahead in the count 2-0, Raymond now facing 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. Ramirez checks over at first where Raymond is. He'll throw over there. Very close play, but Lanphier is able to dive back in time.
I think the dugout for the Oilers might have thought that he was out. Heard some yells coming from over there.
Don't have any type of review system here, so whatever the umpire says goes. 2-2 to Raymond. Swung on and missed for strike 3. Bucs
Now batting for the Anchorage Bucs.
comes up to the plate.
Designated hitter number
We've seen the
15.
type of power he's been able to have, but has not been his day. 3 strikeouts and a pop out. Now the Bucs' last chance with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th and them down 5-1. Here comes the first offering from Ramirez. In there for strike 1. Denton not able to pull the trigger. Comes the 0-1, hit well into left field. That's going to get down and all the way to the wall. Rounding third and coming home is Lanphier. The throw will not be in time, and it's a 2-run double for Ty Denton. Don't go anywhere just yet, folks. Denton comes up huge with a 2-run double, and all of a sudden the Bucs are right there within striking distance. So the Bucs now trailing 5-3. And now the tying run up to the plate in Hank Smith.
Hank Smith's come in clutch several times and is yet to not reach safely today. See if he can keep that magic going here in the 9th inning.
2 walks and 2 singles. As he takes strike 1 on the other part of the plate.
For the Bucs. First base number 6, Hank Smith.
He's had plenty of hard hit outs ever since he's gotten on the team. Hit 11 homers in college ball throughout 60 games. Still looking for his first with the Bucs. Hits that one sharply over towards first. It's fielded by Luke Lusky, and he steps on the bag. So the Bucs run out of gas. They are able to put up a 2 spot in the bottom of the 9th, but it's not enough as they fall to the Oilers 5-3, snapping their 4-game win streak.
Just couldn't quite get the bats going. In total, there left 10 runners on base, so we're able to reach in a number of ways. and that being their 7th hit of the game. But the two teams tied at 7 hits apiece, but I'll tell you what, that 10 on the board compared to the 6 stranded for the Oilers is what made the whole 4-run difference there.
So the Bucs return to 500 at 8-8 on the season. Not able to pull off the comeback effort, and they start off the month of July with a loss. They'll head back on the road tomorrow to Eagle River, where they'll face the Chinooks for the 2nd time in 3 days. We thank you for tuning in today, even with the technical difficulties and all, but we'll be back tomorrow. Your final score today, Bucs lose 5-3.
Thanks again to Alaska Highway Safety Office for their night tonight. We appreciate them coming out. And as you head home.